2 weeks after the governorship election in 28 states, Lagos State was a major focus for many political watchers due to the fact that the ruling party lost during the presidential election. Welcome to Standpoint. I am Ademola Lawrence. Elections are part of a democratic cycle. Every 4 years, Nigerians go to the poll to elect leaders that will pilot the affairs of the nation, whether at federal or state level. For every election comes with its challenges. For some, the 2023 elections was the most fairest and credible in this current democratic dispensation. While some say it is the worst in the history of the nation's democracy. But what are the issues that culminate this election, most especially in Lagos State, where the ruling party, APC, had to slug it out with the Labour Party and PDP? Build up to this election, ethnicity tribalism was more pronounced on the social media. Lagos State, as of course, was the center of focus. However, elections are over. A winner has been declared in the person of current Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, but are the issues gone? And how do we overcome these issues? These are some of the things that we'll be talking about on Standpoint today. And joining me to talk about this is the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotoso. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, first let's start, looking at holistically how the election went in Lagos State, both at the presidential and the National Assembly, which of course will move into the governorship election. From the point of the government and the things that you were able to assess before we now delve into the crux of the matter, how was it generally for?
Well, I think it wasn't. First, let me thank all Lagosians who voted in both elections, because without people coming out to vote, there will have been nothing for us to be discussing today. And, coming out to vote is a very, important aspect of our democracy. And I feel that those who perform their civic duties, they deserve to be commended. And to now look at the process itself, I think it's strong for some people in some circles to have the impression that it was a very bad election. That's not true. As far as we are concerned, it's the best that we have had so far. There's a colleague of mine who says something when you put up an argument. He says, we believe in God. All others must provide data. So for you to be able to convince us that this election was not well run, then you need to provide data. But the data that we have from official sources, from international observers, from local observers, the figures show that what happened in Lagos during the two elections was indeed a true reflection of what we got as a result. Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for example, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Party, who has now, by the grace of God, won the election, he ran based on his records. Everybody saw what he could do. Everybody saw all of the things that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu and All Progressive Party did in Lagos. The hospitals we built, the new schools, then the businesses that we helped to promote, then human capacity development, all of the roads that we have done, and then the other things in transportation sector, such as the rail lines, the ferry services that we had 7 when Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu was coming in, and later, by the time by last month, we had about 21 of them. And so many, many other areas of achievement like that in health sector, in transportation, as I have said, and so many other things. So he was running on his records, he was running on his capacity and his ability and capability. But unfortunately, some people thought it should be about religion, it should be about ethnicism, and they introduced all these primordial sentiments into the campaigns, and then things got a little bit muddy.
Okay, so now that you have even just delved into it, okay, so let's take it one step after the other. After the presidential and National Assembly elections, there was a lot of, stories flying around on the social media, how people were how they experienced voter intimidation, voter suppression, and of course, some persons were saying because if you don't vote, if you are not voting for this particular political party, so as a result of that, don't even come out or don't even think of voting for any other political party. There were videos that were surfaced on social media. We can't sit down here and not say we didn't see those videos. But moving into the governorship elections, build up to that election, there was a lot of stories that began to come out, was the part of ethnicity and tribalism. Now that those things, looking at Lagos as a center, of excellence, and everybody is in Lagos, how do we move from where we are now? Because those things are still with us. The elections are over, but people are still talking about the fact that I am here, you are here.
Well, first let me debunk the opinion that there was widespread intimidation of people. If you are not voting so party, you don't come out to vote at all. There's something that they say in street parlance that Yabis is free. But facts remain facts. Of all the elections that we had in Lagos, about 13,235 polling units. We had reports from about 235 or 140 units of intimidation, of violence. So that is not enough to invalidate the credibility of that election, because that is just about 1%. It's something that's negligible, something that is in infinitesimal. But people can overlook it. Look at Alimosho, for example. We had just one incident in one polling unit in Alimosho. So the thing is that people who are coming out talking about intimidation and all that, there are people who are playing the old game of you are the aggressor and then you are coming out to play the victim.
If I'm sorry to let me cut you that. Sorry to cut you there. If you say because of that one incident, that one incident can also mean that some persons felt they need to come out, they didn't want to come out and vote, but because of that incident that they saw, they find it difficult to come out and vote. So I understand that it's just one incident, but my own is, how do we move away from where we are? Because those issues are still with us. We can't shy away from them. They are issues that have gone over and over again. It's almost a week after election, 2 weeks after election, rather. And people are still talking about this ethnicity and tribalism here in Lagos.
Now, I think those who are still talking about ethnicity and tribalism, first we should trace it. How did it all start? You are the candidate who was going by a particular name, and then all of a sudden on the eve of the election, he now brought up another name, saying that he was from, affiliated to one part of the country. And then people felt that because of that, that maybe he will have a bulk vote from that particular segment of the country. So that's how it all started. And then it sparked a kind of nationalism in all the other ethnic groups. And Mr. Governor came out to talk about the fact that Lagos is not about ethnicity, it's not about religion, and we are going to keep it at that. All of the things that have brought us together as Lagosians, that we are proud of, all the values, all the ideals, our resilience, our united posture when we have a problem, like when we had that pandemic, and the love that we have for one another, and the resilience that we show, that the whole world knows us about. Those are the things that we are now trying to promote, so that people who are talking about ethnicism, they will know that they cannot find a place in Lagos. People who are talking about religion, and all those things that are meant, according to them, to divide us, they are not going to succeed. And Mr. Governor said so in his acceptance speech when he was declared the winner of the election, that Lagos is one Lagos. We are not going to discriminate about anybody, that he has ruled for almost 4 years without any discrimination, either in religion, in sex, in age, in gender, in anything, and that he's going to continue this and going to build on the fact that we are all Lagosians, and all of the things that we are proud of, our hard work, our love for one another, our culture, and everything that binds us together, that he is going to begin to escalate on all these things again and make them a point of unity for all of us in Lagos. So people believe that this has become the beginning of ethnicism in Lagos. They are going to be disappointed. Anybody who wants to say that he wants to set one ethnic group against another in Lagos is going to be the loser.
I think for majority of them, it's just beyond the talks, it's just beyond the rhetorics. What is the government trying to do to bring everybody back to the table? It's not just about ethnicity. Some people are even saying that, the youth in Lagos spoke loud during the presidential election, because according to them, statistics shows that, majority of the youth, voted massively in Lagos, and it went into the governorship election. What is the government doing in terms of bringing everybody to the table, and let's discuss it just beyond words, just beyond rhetorics? How do we address all of these things? Because it's eating deep into the fabric of our nation almost every time. When you go on social media sometimes, of course you need to verify and unverify some stories, but there are some that when you see and you listen to them, you want to believe it's still the same Lagos that we all knew. I take you back to the EndSARS. There were a lot of things that happened during the EndSARS, and some Lagosians have said, come on, we can't allow what happened during the EndSARS to happen again. But what is the government going to do for that not to, raise ugly heads again?
Well, I think, like I have said, all of us believe in God. Others must bring data. If you look at the number of people who voted in that election, and you say the young people, they constitute the majority, that's fine. I won't want to argue about that. But what I want people to know is that as you have young people in one party, so you have in other parties, all of the people who are great supporters of Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu and the APC, for example, most of them are young people. And if you look at the kind of appointments we have made in Lagos, that the governor, Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu, has made, you see that over 40% of people appointed are young people. They constitute the majority in the government. So it's all for them. And all the programs that we have, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, all of the people who are beneficiaries, over 90% are young people. If you look at the kind of investment that we have made in entertainment, all the people who are benefiting from entertainment, most of them, majority are young people. So if you look at all of that, you see that young people are very, they are a key part of what the administration is doing. Then talking about what we do in order for people now to feel that ethnicism is now going to reign in Lagos, and all of those divisive rhetoric we have to come into play as a practical actions. They are not going to be. As I speak with you now, there was a man who went on social media to say that he was going to invite IPOB into Lagos to come and protect Igbo property in Lagos, to come and protect Igbo people. In less than 24 hours, the man has been arrested. Because that is not who we are in Lagos. We do not thrive on ethnicism. We do not thrive on religious sentiment and all those primordial issues that tend to divide people. We are all Lagosians, wherever you come from. You can come from anywhere so long as you are going to live in peace and you are going to be run your life according to law, according to the rules and regulations here, and you are not going to dabble into crime and all negative things. You are all Lagosians. Everybody is welcome. That is what makes Lagos tick. That is what makes Lagos to thrive. That is what makes Lagos the financial and commercial headquarters of Nigeria or even West Africa. So I do not feel that anybody who wants to say that going forward, we are now going to be living our lives in small closets as ethnic champions, the person is wrong. That is why the kind of man who was arrested this morning is not going to have his way in Lagos, going on social media and talking about things that don't happen in Lagos, trying to set one particular section of the country against another. It's not going to happen in Lagos. All of us will remain Lagosians, true Lagosians who love one another and who cherish the fact that all the things that bind us together, our resilience, our hard work, our joy in seeing each other and then embracing each other, all of those things are going to continue. We are not going to become ethnic champions or allow ethnic irredentists to divide us. It's not going to happen in Lagos.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question. Before the election, there was a video on social media where one of the supporters of APC was saying that, if you're not supporting this particular party, don't come out. And after which, there was another purported video that also came out saying that this was what it meant. Don't you think that kind of video did more damage to the psychic of the people who want to vote?
You see, what I would want to say about that, if a man made a video and said something and he said he was misunderstood, and made another video again to show, I know the person you are talking about, MC Oluomo, everybody saw the video, and the man explained himself that he didn't mean that people should not come out to vote, that he was talking to Mama Shinedu. And he made another video and asked Mama Shinedu to come out and talk. And Mama Shinedu came and spoke in Igbo and said MC Oluomo has been a customer for ages, and that she was the one the man was referring to. And that's short of apologizing for that kind of behavior. But we have found people who said that they killed somebody, they have shot somebody dead in my estate, and then I slapped a policewoman. And such people are still walking the street. They are not yet arrested. We've seen leaders of LP going to the voting area with wild dogs. And they are the very first people to jump onto television to start talking about being intimidated. So it's a case of the aggressor playing the victim. And it's an old game that all of us, we understand. And they are the first to be seen on social media, and the ones with the loudest voice. And that is why people always believe what they say. Because, you cannot beat a kid and expect the kid not to cry. That is the case of LP in this particular election. I mean, look at the gap that the APC has given to them, because they had it in their dreams that they were going to win elections in Lagos. And then the Gaussians said, no, they will vote competence, they will vote performance, they will vote ability, and that they are not going to put their destiny in an untested hand. And that's what happened in that election. So because they had it in their conjectural imagination that they were going to win, they now started crying that they were being victimized. They were being asked not to vote. They were chased out of voting areas. I mean, all sorts of lies that they are telling. But like you have said, there are videos to show that they were the ones who went to police stations with wild dogs. They were the ones who were promoting hate speeches, promoting divisive tendencies, promoting divisive rhetoric before the elections and even after the election. The elections are gone how many days? You still find their supporters saying all manner of things, despite the fact that the governor himself goes everywhere to say that this victory is for all Lagosians. Let us come together and move towards the greater Lagos that we are talking about, and that Lagos will not allow, under any circumstance, people who will divide us, that we remain one Lagosian, and that so we shall remain, and that he's going to be governor of all Lagosians, and all the beautiful things that he has spoken of, that he has promised Lagosians to take us to a greater Lagos, that he promised that he will continue to do them in education, in health, in entertainment, in transportation, and in infrastructural development all over Lagos. So that is why yesterday we were in Ikorodu to commission a road. Obase Kumade Road has been in the works for about 8 years. Yesterday it was commissioned and the people were very happy. And it's going to continue like that. The red line, very soon we are going to complete it and commission it. The blue line, very soon, is going to be open to passenger operation. So all of us will be moving towards that greater Lagos without anybody coming to divide us along ethnic or religious lines. That is not who we are, and we are not going to accept that. In our attitude, in our thoughts, in our species, we are not going to accept that.
So I want to, you talked about Greater Lagos. Now let's move into just a bit, let's move into governance. How, one of the things that the residents of Lagos want to see is accountability from their leaders. How do you think this will play out? Some says the second term of every governor is always different from the first time. The first time they work like every other thing, but the last time of every governor is just like it's just a stroll in the park for them. So what is it going to be like? Being accountable to the people of Lagos in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of infrastructural development? Are we still going to be seeing what we're seeing, or is just going to be the same old same?
No, it's going to be quite different. In Lagos, we are going to be seeing bigger projects being completed. Already, we have them all set. Lagos has a work plan that the governor is following, and we are not going to deviate from that. That's why when we had the pandemic, the COVID-19, it didn't stop us from hitting our target and surpassing it. So we have, for the first time in a decade, we are building a new hospital in Ojo, a new general hospital. We are set to complete it. We are building a mental health center in Iketu Ejiri, about 500-bed mental hospital. That's an aspect of health that nobody pays attention to, or they pay little attention to. 500-bed hospital is almost ready. We are going to complete it. We are building a film city on 100 hectares of land in K22. We are going to complete it so that our young people who are interested in filmmaking, who are interested in editing, script writing, and all of that, they will have a place to practice what they want to do. We are building 8 stadia at the same time, and all those stadia, they are going to be completed in this second tenure so that our young people can have a place to express their bountiful energy so that Lagos can continue to be the leader in terms of sports in Nigeria. We are going to build a research center in Yaba so that when you have a pandemic like COVID-19, you won't have to rely on the Western world to give us a vaccine. We have the brains here. We have the human resources here who can do this. So we are going to be providing that infrastructure for them. The red line, as I have said, is going to be completed. It was started by Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu on August 21, 2021. And August 15, he's going to complete it in his own tenure, even in this first tenure. So by the time we finish that red line and then it goes into operation, everybody will see it. We are going to be expanding the waterways so that there will be less pressure on the roads. We are going to start the 4th mainland bridge, which is going to run from Abraham Adesanya all the way to Ikorodu, and it is bursting out at Lagos-Badagry Expressway. And I feel all of these projects that we are going to do, they are enough for people to see that there is accountability. We are building the largest children's hospital in Africa. Mercy Street Hospital is already being built as I speak with you. Now they are working there. So all of these things, we are going to do them so that people will see that in all these projects, you can even see accountability. So it's not going to be a slowdown time at all. Mr. Governor says so during his acceptance speech, that there is no time to waste. There is no time to relax. There is no time for us to continue to look back. We have to be forging ahead and be doing new projects and all the things that we have promised to make Lagos, the greater Lagos that we are all seeing rising around us, will continue to rise in education, in health, in transportation, and in entertainment and everything that we need to do so that we can catch up with the world. Because we are well aware that Lagos, Nigeria is of every 10 black people in the world, about 6 are Nigerians. And if 6 are Nigerians with the population of Lagos, it means that at least 4 are in Lagos. So we have a very big responsibility on our shoulders. Mr. Governor realizes this. Mr. Deputy Governor, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat realizes this. So we are going to do everything to show the world that we are going to put, with our actions and all our projects, to show that the black man is able to occupy the kind of pride of place he should be occupying in the world. Lagos is going to lead that charge, and we are going to get there.
All right, thank you very much. That is, of course, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Lagos State. I hope that the governor will be able to keep to his promise. He's in his last lap of governance in Lagos.